Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 128 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
And we have a lot to get to today.
Do we?
We do.
Okay.
We're playing a game. We got a recipe. I got to talk about this conference that I attended this weekend.
Well, all right then. So,
Let's jump into it. Our recipe. I'm just going to start with our recipe.
Okay.
This is kind of funny. Our recipe this week, well, let me introduce the recipe. We have a recipe this week.
Mm-hmm.
I may have said that before.
You did.
And so here is this week's recipe from our vegan kitchen. So this week's recipe, which was requested by a number of you, and I'm kind of surprised by this, it is our big salad, the big salad that we talk about making.
It's a salad, only bigger, with lots of stuff in it.
And so I thought I would just tell you what I put in this big salad. I will write out the recipe and make this available to all. I don't think that this is a Patreon-worthy recipe. No offense, Patreon people.
No.
But it's a salad, right?
Right. And the thing is, I feel like there's no one recipe for the big salad because it changes a bit every single time.
Yeah, depending on what kind of veg we have in the house or what kind of mood I'm in or what Sam says, hey, can we put this in the salad today?
I do occasionally do that.
Yeah. It's usually, can we have broccoli?
Yeah. Can we have roasty veg?
So here's what we do. I start out with a base of greens, usually a mixed salad green. So it's arugula, spinach, and just whatever, lettuce, green lettuce, leaf lettuce.
Usually some spinach in there too.
Yeah, I already said spinach.
Did you? Sorry.
Yeah.
Missed that.
So we put more spinach on top of the spinach. And then I do a number of things. There's a number of ways you can do it. I sometimes will roast some root vegetables like Brussels sprouts and cauliflower, although cauliflower is not really a root vegetable.
Neither are Brussels sprouts.
Carrots.
You're not roasting root veg, you're roasting crucifers.
It's a good thing that we're going to give you this recipe so you can.
Right.
Anyway, I don't know, roast seasonal
You're roasting
vegetables.
either cruciferous vegetables.
Correct. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, so that's the Brussels and the cauliflower and the broccoli.
Right.
Your crucifers.
Uh-huh.
Or you're roasting some root veg. Yes, we frequently do potatoes.
Potatoes, carrots.
Carrots.
Yeah.
Yes, if we have them around, squash or
squash.
turnips or, things like that. And it will vary from season to
Delicata
season.
squash is particularly
that's
good.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have a warm component. I try to add a protein, sometimes multiple proteins. So possibly some beans.
Yes.
It's cheaper if you cook your beans from raw. And if you have an Instant Pot, that process is pretty convenient. But I usually just use canned beans, something quick. Organic, always buy organic canned beans.
Yes, very important.
Yeah, canned beans are high in pesticides.
Yep.
So, maybe some chickpeas, garbanzo beans, or sometimes a white bean. And then sometimes I cube up some tofu and pan fry it or bake it.
That is a frequent component to the big salad.
I like to make sure that we have some sort of protein in there.
Yep.
Just to make it a little more substantial so we're not hungry later.
Right. And every now and again, that protein, usually it's beans and or tofu.
Yeah, which are both beans, really.
Which are both beans, yes. But occasionally we will, throw caution to the wind and have, like a chicken nugget.
Oh, yeah.
As the protein.
Yeah, we like those Dino Bites. Well, they're called Dino Buddies.
They are Dino Buddies, but we call them Dino Bites.
Plant-based Dino Buddies
are
particularly good on a salad.
They are.
And when we throw caution to the wind, goodbye, caution, we will sometimes add those. Now, mind you, this is all taking place in a very large bowl.
Yes.
This is the key to the big salad.
Is the large bowl.
It's a salad, only bigger, with lots of stuff in it.
Start with a large bowl. I'm talking like a serving bowl.
Yeah, they really, really are.
Because this is a meal. This is your main meal.
Yes.
And you need to eat a lot of these things in order to feel satiated.
Right. And also to make sure that you're getting a reasonable number of calories because, as we know, raw vegetables, tofu, roasted vegetables, they are not typically very calorically dense.
Correct.
And so if it's going to be either your primary meal or your only meal for the day, like, for example, I hadn't had anything before dinner today.
Right.
So knowing that dinner is going to be the meal for the day, it needs to be substantial.
Yeah. And then another component, textural component that we like to add, which is also a nutritious component, is nuts and seeds of some sort.
Nuts and seeds.
We usually do sunflower seeds. What other nuts and seeds do we do?
Pepitas.
Pepitas
are
good.
frequent. We do walnuts on a pretty regular basis.
Yep.
Occasionally you might find some slivered almonds going on there. Another of my favorite crunchy add-ons to the salad are crunchy chickpeas.
Oh, yeah, those crunchy chickpeas.
Crunchy chickpeas.
Yeah, you can make your own by baking them.
Yes.
Or you can get in a bag. Do you remember what the brand name is of those? Let's run and get them.
A few moments later.
Saffron Road.
Right. So Saffron Road makes these crunchy chickpeas in a little packet, and they come in several flavors.
They do.
What's your favorite flavor of those?
Well, you know that my favorite flavor has been the falafel.
The falafel
flavor, but I also really, really like the Bombay spice.
Which is what we have right now, Bombay spice. You can get these if you're in the Western New York area or any area where they have Wegmans. I think Whole Foods carries them too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And barring that, you can order them on Amazon.
Oh, yeah, you can Amazon them.
And actually, because I'm looking at them on Amazon, their falafel flavor is back in stock, which it has not been for almost a year.
Yeah, I know even the grocery stores do not have the falafel flavor.
So I might have to order me some falafel chickpeas like right now.
Okay, so yeah, you want a crunchy element, something crunchy and satisfying, right? So nuts and seeds really fulfill that.
Yep, nuts, seeds, crunchy chickpeas, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Then dressings, right?
Well, we've forgotten all the raw veg.
Oh, right. Well, I skipped right over that.
You did. You went straight for the roasty stuff?
I did. Yeah. So for raw veg,
there are a few things that in our house, and it's largely my fault, but in our house, there are a few raw vegetables that are kind of essential to every salad. I will absolutely notice if one or more of them is missing. And they are cucumbers. That's probably the number one.
Definitely.
It's not a salad.
It's in our name.
That's right. It's not a salad unless there are cucumbers involved.
I agree.
Also radish.
Correct. We use radish. A lot of radish.
A lot of radish.
Yep.
Celery is a big one.
Celery is one of my favorite vegetables. And I know people are like, what? What's celery? It's just water and fiber, right? But I love that it's got kind of a spicy zing.
Yeah.
That celery brings to a dish or a salad.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're like me, I love if you get celery hearts.
Yeah.
I like the very center.
Oh, yeah.
The celery hearts.
The little baby celery.
Younger, lighter colored celery. It
they're
has
good.
Not only that kind of spicy flavor to them, but they're so at the same time sweet.
They're sweet, and the celery flavor is really intense on those little pieces that are in the heart.
So I love the center of the celery hearts.
Yeah.
Occasionally carrots, but not always. Definitely tomatoes. Usually cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes on a salad. And then also, whenever possible for me, sprouts.
Oh, yes, sprouts.
I love sprouts.
Yeah, but not to move past tomatoes. My favorite tomatoes are these tomatoes you can get at Aldi's.
The Campari tomatoes.
They're small Campari tomatoes. They're about maybe 2 inches in diameter, and they're on the vine. They're very tomatoey tasting.
They are. They're very good.
Especially this time of year when it's hard to find like farm stand or farm fresh tomatoes or growing your own even. Usually the store tomatoes this time of year, they just don't do it for me, But those ones do.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you're right. These tomatoes are exceptionally good.
Yeah, I love them. Camparis. You can get them at Aldi's.
Yep. So loads of raw veg.
Right.
And it can be sometimes that if Christine isn't roasting something like cauliflower, she'll toss some raw cauliflower onto the salad.
Oh, yeah. Or raw broccoli.
Or raw broccoli. Cabbage is also a big component for us.
Yep.
I love cabbage, particularly on a salad.
Yeah, just chop up some red cabbage.
Red cabbage in particular.
It's really good.
So, yes. And then we come to dressings.
Yeah. Now, Sam's favorite dressing, store-bought that is, I think we've talked about it before. It's the ginger carrot dressing that comes from Aldi.
Yes.
And you'll find it in the produce section, not with the other dressings.
Yep.
Because it needs to be kept cold. It doesn't have any preservatives in it and stuff.
Right. So I believe the brand is Little Grocery Store.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And like Christine said, you find this in an Aldi's produce section.
Yeah, in the cold case.
In the cold case. And it's, whenever we're looking for it, it's up high on a shelf with a couple of other dressings. Now, the other Little Grocery Store dressings are not vegan, but this particular one happens to be.
Yeah.
And it is a carrot ginger dressing. So for those of you who really love going to Japanese restaurants and getting their little green salads just because of the carrot ginger dressing,
very similar to that.
it's that kind of experience.
Yeah, because there's really nothing in it but macerated carrot and ginger and some vinegar.
Oil and some vinegar.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really fantastic. I absolutely love it. I do think that we could make it at home, probably with a little less oil.
I haven't tried to make it.
But it is so, so good. It's one of those things that every time we go to Aldi, we pick up a couple of bottles because we know we're going to go through it.
Yeah.
Because we eat so much salad.
Yeah. But I also make my own dressings. I often do tahini-based dressings.
You make a mean tahini dressing.
Yeah, and they're really simple. Just get yourself a jar, a little mason jar, or even like an old jelly jar or something you saved, and put a couple of tablespoons of tahini. I usually put a couple dashes of roasted sesame oil, but you don't need it because tahini has its own oil in it.
Indeed.
But I like to give that little extra boost of sesame flavor. And lemon juice, little bit of rice wine vinegar, and then you can add in there if you want garlic powder, onion powder, any other kind of herbs you want to add in there, and then just shake up that jar and it's good. Now, they don't keep in the refrigerator for very long, so don't make a whole lot of it. Make just enough for 1 or 2 days.
Right.
Yeah. And I've also recently made, using a silken tofu, you can make a nice ranch dressing.
You do make a very nice ranch dressing.
Yeah, just take a block of silken tofu and put it in. If you don't even need like a big blender or anything, even if you have like a little not a Vitamix, but what are the little ones? The Ninjas or something like that?
Yeah, the Ninjas or the
a NutriBullet.
That's it.
And then just add in dill and some oregano, maybe a little basil, salt and pepper, and you can make your own ranch seasoning and put it in there.
Yes.
And they're delicious. Also, they don't keep real long, so, use it up within 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
And what else do I? Well, of course, I make Italian dressings all the time. That's just kind of like in my blood. And just like use balsamic. You can just use balsamic. You don't even need to make a dressing. Just use a little bit of balsamic vinegar, or Trader Joe's has this really great balsamic glaze.
Oh, yeah, that is good stuff.
That you can just put on your salad. It's really good. And that's all it is just reduced balsamic vinegar.
Yep.
And it's really good.
Yep.
So I can't think of any other dressings. Store-bought dressings. I know Wegmans does carry a couple of really good organic dressings that are vegan and not really expensive, and they're store brand.
Yes. Yeah, their sesame ginger is very good. They have a lemon dill that is very good. Several of their vinaigrettes are quite nice. Actually, I believe their Greek vinaigrette is my favorite, and it happens to be vegan.
Yeah, because creamy dressings are hard to find vegan, and the Wegmans Greek vinaigrette, it's a creamy dressing, and yet it's vegan. So that's good.
It's really lovely. So, but yeah, so that's kind of how we build the big salad. And again, I think the primary thing to underline here, because there's really no wrong way to make a salad. It's just take the stuff you like and toss it in a bowl over some greens, and you've got a salad.
Yeah.
But I think what it's really important to underline is the fact that this is a big salad.
Yeah. Oh, another thing that we forgot is that we often add a grain. So
I'll
add
we did forget that.
I will add quinoa or some brown rice or barley.
That's my
Sam
personal
loves
favorite.
barley.
I love barley.
We're currently out of organic barley because I have to order it. The store doesn't carry organic barley. And barley is another, oats, barley, things like that. Always buy them organic because if they're not organic, they're heavily sprayed.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of glyphosates. I have a hard time saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so yeah, a grain. So then if you have all those things, you've got your greens, you've got your grains, you've got nuts and seeds, you've got plenty of
raw
vegetable,
roasted veg,
yeah,
a little bit of oil. Of course, another thing that we did not mention, whenever it's available, we love avocado on a salad.
Yeah, avocado on a salad.
So you're getting a little bit of fat between
mm-hmm.
the avocado and the walnuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are just so many ways to go.
Yeah. And those fats
you can't do it wrong.
Those fats help you absorb
all the nutrients
yes. in that veg. One other thing I was going to say, Sam likes to put on her salad a little bit of turmeric and some black pepper.
Oh, thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah, it's good for reducing inflammation and stuff like that. I'm really not a fan of having raw turmeric on my salad. I understand it's really good for you. And also sometimes we'll do flaxseed.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I like turmeric in all its forms.
Yeah.
So I take it regularly just as a general anti-inflammatory, just because, being an aging dancer, things hurt.
Right.
Anymore. And so just to kind of keep my physical being's level of inflammation as low as possible. So I will add turmeric to just about anything. And so, yes, I will definitely just sprinkle some raw turmeric on the greens of my salad. Mm-hmm. So it kind of gets absorbed in to everything else. And then with that, of course, it's essential to include black pepper.
Yeah, you have to pair it in order to get that
the full benefit
yeah.
of it. So yes. So if you're going to put raw turmeric on your salad, make sure you're also putting fresh black pepper.
Yeah, fresh ground black pepper.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But, there are other ways to get turmeric as well. I tend to do turmeric lattes. I actually take a turmeric supplement.
Yeah.
That also includes other anti-inflammatory substances like cinnamon and ginger.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So, yeah.
So that's the big salad.
It is.
I know some of you asked what we do. That's what we do.
It's the big salad.
And I can write this all out if you'd like me to write it all out, but it is really just simple. And the main thing to remember is to make it big enough so you're getting enough calories.
That's right.
It might even look crazy big. And sometimes I do go overboard and we can't quite finish.
It's true. It's rare that happens, but every now and again, there's just one component too many.
Right.
And we just can't finish it.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. Oh my gosh,
and
too much tofu.
Yeah. And sometimes I get to the end of a big salad like that and I'm just tired of chewing, like so much chewing.
I don't have that issue. That doesn't bug me to the same degree that it bugs you.
But we have this big salad a number of times a week.
Yeah, it's usually 2 or 3 times a week minimum.
Yep.
And it is kind of our go-to. Like pre-veganism, our go-to was, a protein, a starch, a veg.
Right.
But really our kind of just, if we don't have anything else in mind, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, especially because I know Sam loves the big salad.
I can't get sick of salad. It's not possible.
I could make it every day and she'd probably be fine.
I'd be completely thrilled.
I wouldn't be. I'd get sick of it.
Well, eventually I would probably request something else. Like,
Can we have some pasta or something?
Yeah, noodles
something
are good.
Warm?
I do love noodles. But also, I tend to crave soup. I love soup.
Yeah, I know. I know. You've been wanting soup every week and I've not been doing that.
You haven't, but it's okay.
Alas.
You have other priorities.
Maybe I'll make a soup tomorrow.
Soup is not on the top of your list.
No. But that's our recipe.
And there you have it.
We have a lot to talk about, and we went on and on about the salad.
We did.
I didn't expect the salad to take 20 minutes, but it did.
Yeah.
So anyway, Saturday, I attended the Humane Hoax online conference. And I did this last year, too, and it was a great conference. So I went again this year, and it did not disappoint.
And just like last year, I had work responsibilities all day on Saturday and so was unable to attend. So what Christine is telling you will also be news to me.
Oh, yeah, it will be. Now, the Humane Hoax Conference if you don't know, is based on the book, The Humane Hoax, which talks about humane washing. And this is a book introduced by Hope Bohanec, and she's got a number of people who wrote essays, a number of animal advocates that wrote essays and contributed to this book. And we have this book. I haven't read it all the way through. I perused it.
The Humane Hoax?
Yes.
Oh.
But to be honest with you, because I'm not a huge reader, I haven't read it all the way through.
It's okay.
Sam has, though.
I have.
Yeah. So at the conference was, of course, our host, Hope Bohanec. And Hope's been active in animal protection and environmental activism for like over 30 years. She's a really great lady.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Really great lady. So she hosted the whole conference. And then our presenters were some people you probably know. Renee King-Sonnen. If you're not familiar with Renee King-Sonnen, she's the founder and executive director of Rowdy Girl Sanctuary. Her and her husband were cattle farmers in Texas. And she was introduced to some of the terrible things that took place in animal agriculture outside of their own farm. We're talking industrial farming.
Yeah.
And she went vegan, much to the dismay of her rancher husband and her ranching family.
Sure.
She comes from a long line of cattle ranchers.
Yep.
But she put her foot down and insisted, this is how we're going to live. Finally convinced her husband, here's what she did. She raised enough money to buy her husband's cattle. She bought out their farm because he couldn't see any other. He was saying, we can't afford to do this.
Right.
What are we going to do? So she found enough money to buy all the cows. And then he didn't have an argument. So then they opened a sanctuary. Amazing, right?
Okay, that's super cool. But I am a little bit confused. I mean, sure, buying out the cows would take care of the short term, but
Right.
one would assume that some income would still need to come in.
Well, sure. So they started a sanctuary. And along with starting that sanctuary, she has started, like a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. And people donate. And just like any other sanctuary, that's how they operate.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And they take in other animals. There was 120 animals originally on their cattle ranch, and it converted it to 100% vegan sanctuary. It's just amazing. She has an amazing story, and oh my God, this woman has so much amazing energy. It's infectious. We actually met Renee at the conference in Washington.
The AVA Summit.
And then after Renee's wonderful discussion of how her journey started and where it's going, we heard from Vasily Stanescu, who, his talk was worth the whole admission, which was free, by the way.
Okay.
Now, if you're not familiar with Vasily, he is a professor, a college professor,
We like those.
and he teaches courses on just this very subject,
That's amazing.
on humane washing and greenwashing. And I happened to be able to ask him a question in the question and answer period, and I was curious to know how many of his students go vegan after taking his class. And he says he has about a 10% success rate,
That's so cool.
which, it's not like he's trying to make his kids go vegan.
No, of course not.
But after they learn what he teaches them, and he's obviously a very good teacher because I loved his presentation. It was
Nice.
fantastic. So I would love to sit in on his classes. That 10% of his kids end up going vegan.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah. All of this information is going to be available on their YouTube channel.
Okay.
They usually live stream on Facebook during the conference, but there was some kind of technical difficulty and it wasn't allowing them to do it. But it takes them usually about a week to edit all the film footage from the Zoom meetings and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then they put it on the Humane Hoax YouTube channel.
Oh, that's great.
So you can watch these for yourself.
Oh, you'll have to let me know when they're up and running because I'd love to see that.
Yeah. So his presentation, he explained how greenwashing in the animal agriculture industry has become more common and is utilized by small and large scale animal farming. And a really interesting thing that he was pointing out were all of these companies that were actually have two factions, right? So there's the big CFO, which is the confined animal.
The CAFO.
Yeah. Yeah. How CFO, CAFO, however you want to say it. And those same companies also run smaller, greenwashed, humane washed operations.
Oh, yeah.
Where the cows are grass fed, which is worse, by the way, for the environment.
Yeah. Environmentally is definitely worse.
And they have, egg farms where they're cage free, which is a lie. All cage free means is they have a little, 2-inch hole that they can go out. And they're all you've seen pictures of these just giant chicken operations where the chickens are there's thousands of them all packed into this little space. That's free range. And so these companies are owned by, the CAFOs. And what they actually do is they advertise against themselves.
Right.
Right? And he pointed out something really cool that I didn't know. Chipotle, which I'm sorry to tell you this, because Chipotle has some good options if you're looking for some vegan food, fast vegan food. But I don't know if you remember it. Chipotle put out this ad, which actually turned out to be a video game, where it had this scarecrow character. It was animated.
Okay.
Very moving animated thing where this scarecrow, he wasn't a scarecrow. What did they call him? A carecrow or something like that.
Okay.
Character was going through this animal agriculture facility, and the music in the background was the music from the end of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That do do do.
Oh yeah, yeah. World of Imagination.
So yeah,
yes.
so the whole thing was set to a World of Imagination music, which is gut wrenching music to begin with. Anyway, this whole ad was talking about how terrible factory farming is and all this. And the company that made this ad and the company that makes all the meat products that Chipotle buys is run by a CAFO. It's run by,
of course,
a huge confined animal agriculture facility.
Yes.
And so they're it's so crazy how they're advertising against themselves, but they don't care. They're getting both sides of the market.
That's right.
Right? It's all about the money. They don't care. So now they got, people, they are appealing to people's emotions and all this other stuff. And people are feeling oh, well, if I go to Chipotle,
then I'm supporting an organization
that's humanely raising their animals. And no, it's just such a big lie. And it's so funny. I had a conversation on the chat with a woman, and she was saying how this is sounding very similar to what the tobacco industry was doing and is still doing, to be honest with you.
I would say it's identical.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I said, I have always said that the way animal agriculture operates and the way big tobacco operates is, essentially identical, right? So anyway, we got into a big conversation about that.
Right.
So Vasily Staniscu's presentation was fantastic, and when that video gets up, we'll let you know. I'll actually let you know when that video gets put up on their YouTube, because you should definitely check this conference out. After Vasily was Dr. Joanne Kong, and she did a presentation on disconnection and perception in the humane hoax. So she was talking about people's perceptions and how people perceive all the things that you see in the grocery store.
Sure.
Like how they make you feel, because that's how these companies work, right? I mean, that's how advertising works, right? They appeal to our emotions. So, you see cage-free eggs with she showed this one thing of cage-free eggs and it had a picture of a happy cow on the front. It's
right.
What does that even mean? Why is there a cow, first of all, on egg products? But this smiling, happy cow. And,
well, I think it just evokes the picture of, kind of the happy family farm.
Right.
The small, intimate operation, where the animals are outside all the time, grazing in open fields and, having a relatively fantastic life.
Yeah. So basically her presentation centered around the ways that social conditioning has distance us from our food supply, right? Very good presentation. And after Dr. Kong's presentation was a presentation by a woman who her name is Fireweed.
Okay.
And I've seen Fireweed speak before. It's very compelling. She lives on a small island off of the west coast of Canada, which is actually land that belongs to indigenous people. And she was talking about the eco-feminist perspective. And what her talk really boiled down to was this localist movement. I don't know if you're familiar with the localist movement.
Sure, that all of your food should be as local as possible.
Right.
Yes.
And I actually had a conversation somewhere with a woman where we were tabling, where she was talking about she would go vegan and her family would go vegan, but they're localists. And it's very hard for them to obtain all of their food locally, grains and all that stuff, which, okay, I'm sorry. That's a bad excuse. It's a bad excuse for me. Anyway, she was saying how all these people on this little island where she lives are calling themselves localists, where 90% of the products that they're purchasing, even at farmers markets, are shipped in. They live on an island, and they're kind of ruining the ecology of this beautiful island by shipping in truckloads via ferry of chicken manure and stuff for people to grow things on this island because, to enhance the soil so that they can grow certain crops that really aren't supposed to be grown where they are.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was really interesting. And I guess I never really thought too in depth about the whole localist movement.
Well, I mean, there are some interesting arguments to be made for localism in food when you're talking about the environment.
Yeah, she actually calls them locavores.
Locavores.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. And so there are some interesting arguments to be made in favor of that mindset in terms of environmentalism.
Absolutely.
There's no question. But I think in many cases and in many localities, it's not really tenable, particularly if you're also adding in another sensibility like veganism.
Right. I mean, it can be very difficult if all you eat is vegetables and you're trying to get all your food locally when you live in a place where most vegetables don't grow during parts of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do?
Right.
I mean, I suppose you could live on potatoes and carrots and things like that, but you're not going to be getting nutritionally everything that you need.
Right.
And you certainly can't buy locally grown grains.
No.
That's
challenging for most people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially if you want organic grains.
Right.
Because most of the grain crops grown, at least in our area and in New York State, are feed crop.
Yeah.
You don't want to eat that stuff.
No.
It's GMO corn and stuff like that.
That's right.
So
GMO corn, GMO wheat, GMO soy.
Soy, yeah. So anyway, this was a fantastic conference, and thank you so much to everybody that was involved in the Humane Hoax online conference. And like I said, you can watch the conference for yourself up on their YouTube once they get it all edited and put up there.
Awesome. I know I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad that the video will be up so I can kind of catch up.
Yeah, you can check it out. So that brings us to our main topic. And our main topic this week.
I hear it's a game of sorts.
It's vegan trivia.
All right.
But it's vegan trivia, Animal Sentience Edition.
They should make a whole Trivial Pursuit Animal Sentience Edition.
That would be cool.
They have so many editions of Trivial Pursuit. Like, we should have the Animal Sentience Edition.
That would be cool.
It would.
Now, these questions are a little on the difficult side.
Okay.
So, we're going to go back and forth like we usually do with something like this. We each have the questions, and we also have the questions with the answer key. So, no cheating.
No.
Not that you would.
No.
So do you want to ask or give the first question?
I will ask the first question.
Okay, go.
Okay, the first question is, what is animal sentience?
Okay, I don't know what the answer key says, but in my opinion, animal sentience is the ability to feel, to have feelings, to have a sense of self, to be able to feel pain, to be able to solve problems. I'm sure there's a number of other things, but in my mind, those are the main ones that come up.
Well, and according to the answer, the animal sentience is the capacity of animals to perceive, to experience emotions, and to feel pain. So you are right on the money.
I was pretty close.
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay, the next question is a true or false.
Okay.
So you got a 50% chance of getting it right.
All right. I like those odds.
True or false? Only mammals, such as dogs and cats, are considered sentient beings.
Oh, so false.
Yeah, that's not a hard one.
That's not a hard one. So false. No, just about every animal alive is recognized as being sentient.
I would venture to say that all living creatures have some sort of sentience.
Yes.
You know? I mean, how do you know? I mean, even ants, it seems like they know what's going on.
They do.
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
And just a recent study showed that fish have a sense of self.
That's right.
Which some toddlers don't even have. I mean, a lot of animals don't. They say dogs don't. Some cats do, some cats don't.
I know at least one of ours does.
Yeah. What it is they can look in the mirror and know that the animal looking back at them is them.
Yes.
And not another animal.
Right.
So, fish has been found to have a sense of self.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
What's the next question?
The next question is, which animal is known for its complex social behaviors, including forming strong bonds with family members and displaying grief after the loss of a loved one?
Oh, I think I know this.
Okay.
I mean, I think this could describe a number of animals.
I actually think the list of animals this describes is quite long.
But I think what they might be going for here is elephants.
You are correct. They are going for elephants.
Yeah, because I know elephants, they have like these elaborate grief ceremonies.
Yeah.
Where they will sometimes for years carry the bones of dead relatives around with the herd.
Yes.
So.
Yes, but they are definitely not the only animal that mourns
No.
The loss of loved ones. I mean, we've seen, mother cows crying for their calves who have been separated from them for weeks, if not months on end.
Yeah.
So they're certainly not alone in this. But yes, and elephants are highly noted for those kinds of behaviors.
Okay, the next question is, which marine mammal is known for its intelligence, communication skills, and complex social structures similar to that of humans?
And if I'm right in my answer, some scientists argue that the intelligence of these animals actually exceeds that of humans, and those would be dolphins.
That's correct. The correct answer is dolphin.
You need the answer key.
I know. I don't know why I didn't have it open yet. Okay, the next question.
True or false? Chickens have been shown to possess cognitive abilities and emotional responses, such as problem-solving skills and maternal instincts.
Well, I'm glad this is a true and false because that makes it easier, but I'm pretty sure that is true.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yes. Chickens are one of those mammals who are capable of basic math.
Yeah.
Among other things. And they definitely have maternal instincts toward their young.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Yeah. How are you doing at home? How do you think you're doing? Are you doing good? Okay. The next question. What is the name? Here's where they kind of get difficult when they're talking about names and stuff. What is the name of the pioneering ethologist who conducted extensive research on animal behavior and advocated for the recognition of animal sentience?
I know this is, a slightly more challenging question, but as this person is a particular hero of mine, I think I've got it.
Okay.
And that's Dr. Jane Goodall.
Yes. Ding, ding, ding. That is correct.
Yes.
Jane Goodall.
Her work is just phenomenal.
It is.
Mm-hmm. All right. For you, we have, which farm animal is known for its social nature, ability to form friendships, and display of empathy toward others?
Wow. This describes a number of farm animals.
Yeah, I agree. This could actually describe almost all farm animals.
ability to form friendships and display an empathy towards others. Really, this could be so many farm animals. I'm going to say pigs.
Yes.
That's what they were going for?
They were going for pigs. Yes, but this, I believe, is actually true of many farmed animal species. Cows, goats, sheep, all of the above. So, yes, but they were in the moment going for pigs. So, well done.
Okay, the next question for you is a true or false. True or false? Fish are capable of experiencing pain and distress.
Absolutely true.
Yeah, that is true. And we learned a lot about that in the film Eating Our Way to Extinction. There was a very good section on fish and fish farming and all of that.
Yes. So if that's something that you are interested in, the sentience of fish and the fact that they do feel pain, that they do feel distress, watching Eating Your Way to Extinction and, of course, Seaspiracy. Are great options because
Blackfish.
It is very, very clear
Yeah.
that fish are feeling creatures.
Right.
Yes. Which animal has been observed using tools, communicating through complex systems of gestures and vocalizations, and displaying empathy towards distressed individuals?
Again, I think that this applies to so many non-human animals, but this system of gestures and vocalizations
and also the use of tools.
Yeah, the use of tools. I mean, a lot of animals use tools, even like crows and a lot of corvids use tools. But I think that they're going for maybe chimpanzees or something along that line.
Yes, chimpanzees is correct. Bonobos or chimpanzees.
Bonobos, okay.
Yep, absolutely.
And, this isn't as hard as I thought it was going to be.
Well, no. I mean, you have to remember, these are things that we read about and talk about and learn about frequently. So, I think more information is in there than you realize.
Yeah. When I put this together, I tried not to look at the answer key. So
sure.
Okay. Oh, and this quiz is brought to you by artificial intelligence.
It is?
Yeah.
How so?
I used an AI program and asked it to please form a 20-question test focusing on animal sentience.
No kidding.
These are the questions that we got. And then I had to ask it again because you have to be very specific with AI. Please form a 20-question trivia list of questions surrounding animal sentience, and please give me the answers because it didn't give.
Oh, interesting.
It didn't give me the answers because I didn't ask it to give me the answers.
Oh, wow.
I just told it to give me questions. So anyway, that this is what it came up with.
Wow.
Okay, you're next, right?
I just asked you about chimpanzees.
Okay. What is the term for the scientific study of animal behavior, including cognition, emotions, and social interactions?
Well, given that Dr. Jane Goodall, one of my heroes, is an ethologist, I'm going to assume that her branch of science is ethology.
Yeah, they kind of alluded to this in an earlier question also. So yes, that is correct. The study is called ethology.
Next question. True or false? Cows have been shown to have distinct personalities and to form strong bonds with their offspring and herd mates.
We know that's true. We've seen this in action.
Oh, yes. Many times.
Yep.
Yep.
And again, almost all farm animals can be witnessed doing these things. Having bonds, having friendships. You may have seen at Mockingbird Farms, because it was also picked up by Dodo, who does the stories on animals.
Oh, yeah.
The complex relationship that Sid, the goat, has.
Oh, yes.
With Rem, the steer.
Cat. Yes.
He's a steer. When Rem was just a little calf, Sid, who was already a full-grown goat, because Sid is up there in years.
Yes.
He kind of took Rem under his proverbial wing, right? And they sleep together and snuggle every night. That's how they go to bed. Well, now Ren is,
huge.
Geez, he's got to be a good 1,200 pounds.
Oh, easily.
He's huge.
Ginormous.
And so now Sid just stands next to him and rests his little head on his side or whatever. It's so adorable.
It is. It's just beautiful.
Yeah. So if anybody thinks that animals don't form bonds, even amongst other species, they form bonds, then they're out of their minds.
Mm-hmm.
This next question is for Sam. Which species of bird is known for its remarkable problem-solving abilities, complex vocalizations, and elaborate courtship rituals?
Oh, this has to be my favorite bird, or our mutually favorite bird, actually, or at least the family. So I'm going to go with corvids, which would be crows and ravens.
Yeah, well, there's a number of birds that fall into the corvid segment of genus, I guess you would say. But yeah, you're correct. It is crows, and they have crows and or ravens.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
Love me a raven.
Yeah. My friend Karen has a murder of crows in her neighborhood. She lives like in the inner city, but she has a murder of crows that she feeds, and they bring her trinkets.
That's awesome.
I mean, they're usually just, a bit of glass, a pop top, or,
That's so cool.
But
they do love shiny objects.
Yeah, they bring her things.
That's really cool.
Very neat. I have a crow tattoo on my back.
Yes, you do. Mm-hmm. And we have raven symbology all over this house.
Yeah, a lot of times when Sam goes someplace, she'll find me ravens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, particularly if I'm anywhere in London, because of course, with the Tower of London, should the ravens leave the tower, the kingdom will fall.
That's true. So they have some ravens at the tower.
Yep.
Where are we? Oh, it's my question.
It is. What is the name of the landmark document that recognizes animals as sentient beings and outlines their welfare needs?
See, this is where things get hard. It's the landmark document that recognizes animals as sentient beings and outlines their welfare needs. The Animal Protection Act?
No. But this particular document does form the basis of a lot of, I want to say almost mission statements of a number of organizations globally, including the ASPCA. Okay. So the answer is, the name of the document is the 5 Freedoms.
Okay. I didn't know that, obviously.
Well, that's okay. So the 5 Freedoms outlines 5 specific aspects of animal welfare, hence the name. They were developed in response to a 1965 UK report on livestock husbandry, and they were formalized in 1979 by the UK Farm Animal Welfare Council.
So this is a UK thing?
Yes.
Okay, that's where I got confused.
It is, but they have been adopted by professional groups and veterinarians worldwide, including the World Organization for Animal Health, the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, and the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. And the 5 freedoms, as currently expressed, are freedom from hunger or thirst, by ready access to fresh water and a diet to maintain full health and vigor, freedom from discomfort, by providing an appropriate environment, including shelter and a comfortable resting area. Freedom from pain, injury, or disease by prevention or rapid diagnosis and treatment. Freedom to express most normal behavior by providing sufficient space, proper facilities, and company of the animal's own kind. And freedom from fear and distress by ensuring conditions and treatment which avoid mental suffering.
And I can say that most large animal agriculture facilities are not adhering to any of that.
By any stretch of the imagination.
Nope. Okay, this next question is for Sam. True or false? Octopuses, isn't it octopi? Octopuses have demonstrated problem-solving skills, memory capabilities, and the ability to manipulate objects, suggesting a high level of intelligence.
Oh, most definitely. And if you haven't watched My Octopus Teacher, you really need to.
That was pretty incredible.
That was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. So yes, octopi or octopuses are very, very intelligent.
They have giant
beings.
Brains.
Yes.
They're all brain. They're brain and arms.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sea creatures. We know so little about sea creatures.
Oh, gosh.
You know?
Yes.
And I'm of the opinion that the world under the sea, the creatures that live in the world under the sea they're far more intelligent than we are. They can communicate between thousands of miles
in ways that we barely understand.
Yeah. Using sound, using sonar. They're just incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Your next question.
Okay.
Which animal, often misunderstood and feared, is known for its loyalty, sensitivity, and protective behavior towards its family members?
Which animal, often misunderstood and feared? Misunderstood and feared. Geez, I could think of a couple of things, but what are they going for here? Loyalty, sensitivity, and protective behavior towards its family members. Is it lioness?
You would think that's where I initially went to with this question, because yes, lions, tigers, any large cat,
The females, at least.
especially the females,
Yeah.
you get this kind of behavior. But no, they were actually going for wolves.
Oh, okay. I can see that. I
Yeah,
can see that.
absolutely. And they include dogs as well, because of course, dogs are really just domesticated wolves.
Right. There are a lot of animals that would have fallen into that.
Oh, absolutely.
Category.
And that's the thing.
I also thought, like, what is it? Something like, Gila monsters or something?
Oh, wouldn't that be cool?
Well,
But also, I mean, since the questions were developed through AI, they're going to come up with one answer,
specific
even
answer.
though there may be many, many appropriate answers.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you're next. I'm sorry. Sam's question is, what is the term for the ability of animals to experience positive emotions such as joy, pleasure, and contentment?
I will thank Dr. Melanie Joy for my knowledge of this particular term. That, I believe, is called a hedonic state.
Wow. I'm glad you got that question because I wouldn't have known that.
Well, like I said, I thank Dr. Melanie Joy, but also if you think about it in terms of humans, the kind of mindless pursuit of pleasure is referred to as hedonism.
Hedonism, yeah.
Yeah, so very
I mean,
similar.
it makes sense, and I have heard of the hedonic state, but I don't think I would have come up with it.
That's okay.
We're learning things here, people. We're learning things.
Always. All right. Your next question. True or false?
Oh, I love these ones.
Insects, such as bees and ants, exhibit complex behaviors and social structures, indicating a level of sentience.
Was I not just talking about ants?
You were just a little while ago.
Yeah. And I'm going to say that's true.
Oh, they absolutely do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bees and ants both have really complicated social structures. I mean,
Yeah.
we all know of, bees, the queen and the workers and the drones, and they all have very specific roles within the hive and all of that good stuff. And ants are very, very similar. There's no way they could get done what they get done without a certain degree of organization.
Yeah, and they have, and here's the thing. People don't often think of insects as having sentience. They think, I don't know if people think that they're just programmed to do all the things that they do and they just walk around like little robots all day long, but no, of course not. They have families, and I don't know if you've ever disturbed an ant colony, like when you're gardening or something.
They are not happy about it.
They're not happy, and if there's eggs, if there's babies, you will see them all picking up the little eggs and carrying them away from harm.
Yes.
And it's not like they're programmed to do that. It's they're caring for their young. So, yeah, people don't often think about insects as having sentience, but they absolutely do. Okay, here's Sam's question. Which animal is known for its intricate mating dances, elaborate vocalizations, and the formation of monogamous pair bonds?
I really don't think I'm going to be able to come up with what they're looking for. I think there are a lot of animals that fit these criteria.
I agree.
I
did know it was a bird, and when I looked at the answer, that's not the bird I would have chosen.
Because one of the things, like the formation of monogamous pair bonds, the first thing I think of when I think of monogamous pair bonds are otters. But I don't, and I love otters, but I don't think otters have the mating dances and the elaborate vocalizations.
I wish they did, though.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
I wish otters had elaborate mating dances.
That would be hysterical.
I just want to watch otters dance.
Right?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to watch that?
Yeah.
So that was the first thing I thought.
No, it's not otters.
No, I'm quite sure that it's not. And you mentioned that it's a bird. So the first place that I'm going to go, given mating dances, vocalizations, monogamous pairs, I'm going to go parrots.
No, it's not parrots. It's actually the bird of paradise.
I think of birds of paradise as a flower.
Well, it is also a flower, but the reason that the bird of paradise flower is called the bird of paradise is because it looks like the bird of paradise.
Oh, no kidding. I did not know that.
And you just type into YouTube bird of paradise mating, because they do some really elaborate little dances.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see that.
But a lot of birds do.
Yeah.
Some of them have very, very strange and intricate mating dances.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew it was birds. And at first, before the whole thing with the dances came into play, I was thinking of geese, because geese are also monogamous. So
yes, they
swans.
are. Swans.
But I've never seen geese do an elaborate mating dance. But so, yeah, bird of paradise.
All right. True or false? Animal sentience is widely recognized in scientific and ethical circles, leading to changes in animal welfare laws and policies.
I'm going to say they're going for true, but I'm going to say that that's a bunch of BS, because it is true and it is recognized scientifically, but it does not lead to enough change in animal welfare laws and policies.
Well, you were right. They were going for true, and I agree. It's true, but not true enough.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Yes.
Not true enough.
Nope.
Bosco agrees. And our final question: what is the term for the ability of an animal to perceive and respond to their environment, including the ability to learn from experience?
Well, anytime you talk about the learning from experience, that involves cognitive ability.
Did you look at the answers?
I did not.
That is correct.
Why am I always accused of looking at the answers when I know something? This has gone on in my family since I was about 10.
I was just teasing you. I know you didn't look. I know you're just smart. And you remember things,
I have a fairly impressive memory.
Yeah, Sam has a really impressive memory. And, that's a really important part to being smart, is being able to remember things when you learn them.
I honestly think it's the only reason I am at all intelligent. It's just that I remember things. Because really, I'm a bit of a dope.
Well, you'll have to let us know how you did at home, because some of those were a little difficult.
They were challenging.
Yeah.
But, was that our first AI-generated trivia
It was.
quiz?
It was.
Well, that was very interesting.
It was interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. And I have to tell you, when I was using ChatGPT, is the program I used to form that quiz, it took me a number of tries to get the kind of quiz that I really wanted.
I would imagine.
Yeah. So you have to continually hone in on what you're looking for. You have to be very specific about what you're looking for when you're using AI, because it is artificial intelligence, and it is only pulling from what it can find out there in the ether.
Mm-hmm.
So
For sure.
yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. Thanks for making that little test for us.
Yeah. I'd like to make the trivia more vegan focused. I know we've done just random trivias in the past. So, yeah.
Well, but I mean, they've always been attached to an episode for a reason. We've done holiday trivia.
Right.
Candy trivia for Halloween and
That's true.
stuff like that. But,
Yeah.
no, this was a good one.
Yeah. I thought it was fun
Nicely done.
and challenging.
Indeed.
And that brings us to this week's helpful tip. And there's a little twist this week. It's a helpful tip to encourage others to go vegan and stay vegan.
That's right. I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of vegans like to talk about being vegan.
Yeah.
They really do. In the hopes that maybe, just maybe, they'll inspire someone else who's on the fence or curious but not quite ready to take the leap to go just a bit further in that direction. And one of the best things you can do is to share personal stories. So to share your personal journey to veganism, including the reasons behind your decision and the positive impact it has had on your life. Personal stories can be powerful tools for inspiring others and fostering empathy toward animals. So really, one of the best things you can do is just have conversations with people.
It is one of the best things you can do.
It is.
And it's one of the things I really enjoy when we're out tabling somewhere, if we're at a veg fest or something like that, is having conversations with people who aren't vegan.
Yeah.
I love telling people all about things.
Absolutely.
And just kind of opening people's minds to things they don't think about.
That's right.
Things we didn't think about before we were vegan.
That's right.
Things that conditionally, not to be redundant, but we've been conditioned to suppress things we're aware of, but we don't dive into it.
That's right.
Before you're vegan, you kind of take on this, please don't tell me about that attitude.
Cognitive dissonance.
Right. Like, I know it happens, but please don't tell me about it because then I won't be able to enjoy what I'm eating. Right. But I love having those conversations with people. And a lot of times they're really enlightening for people. And sometimes it makes people think and dig a little. And sometimes that's all it takes for a cattle rancher to go home and tell her husband, that's it.
Yep.
We're going vegan.
You never know.
Yeah.
When what you have to say might be somebody's tipping point.
Yep.
So get on out there. Share your story.
Yep. And hey, it's time for our favorite portion of the show.
That's right. It's time for this week's listener shout out.
Just want to give a shout out to all my fans watching. I love you guys. I love you.
Yeah, it's a twofer.
It's a twofer this week. We are shouting out Kimberly Buther and her daughter, Layla. Kim recently sent us an email nominating Layla for a shout out, but they listened to the show together, which we just love. We wanted to shout them both out at the same time. Layla is a vegan and a college student. And Layla, we want to congratulate you on your upcoming graduation from Columbia. That is huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I'm sure that Kimberly, your mother, and your entire family is very proud of you.
So proud of you.
I know
And
we are.
we are.
Yeah.
We are.
We're proud of you for going vegan. We're thankful that you listen to the show. I'm so thrilled that your mom reached out to us for a shout out for you. So here's to you, Layla. We're shouting you out.
That's right. And thank you both for listening.
Yeah, and contact us with your t-shirt size and address so we can send you a Compassion and Cucumbers swag bag. You can give us that information by either emailing us at compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com. You can DM us on Instagram or private message us on Facebook. And
we're doing a special shout out today to my sister-in-law, Christine's sister, Linda, as today is her birthday. Her birthday request was that we come to her house and cook a vegan meal with her. So we will be doing that on Sunday. And so we just want to say happy birthday, sister. We love you.
happy birthday, Linda. We do. We love you.
Now, for everybody else out there, if you want a listener shout out, please email or DM us. Let us know what you think of the show and tell us a little bit about yourself.
And a little add-on to that, if you belong to our mailing list, you will have received our weekly newsletter. And in that weekly newsletter is the announcement of a contest.
Really?
We're doing a contest.
Cool.
Later this year, we're going to do a random number generator of all the people that have been shouted out on our show. And the person that gets picked will win a brand spanking new 8-inch Meeson chef's knife.
Ooh.
A very nice chef, like $100 chef knife.
All right.
Yeah.
Love that.
One of my favorite knives, and I want somebody else to also experience one of my favorite knives.
Very cool.
Yeah, so look forward to that. We're going to do it later this year.
All right.
So get your shout outs in. Email us that you want a shout out. Nominate people for a shout out. If you would like a brand new Meeson chef's knife, you could have the opportunity to win one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Rock on.
And that takes us to our vegan org of the week.
This week, we are honoring Woodstock Farm Sanctuary. Located in High Falls, New York, Woodstock Farm Sanctuary is one of the largest farmed animal sanctuaries in the state. They provide a permanent home for rescued cows, pigs, chickens, turkeys, goats, sheep, and other farmed animals. The sanctuary also offers educational programs and tours to raise awareness about farmed animal issues and promote compassionate living. You can find out more about their work at woodstocksanctuary.org.
Yeah, we just love the work that all these sanctuaries do.
We sure do.
You know?
We're going to have to get out there. I would love to go to Woodstock.
I would love to, too.
Let's do that.
I think a couple of our orgs are going to be farmed sanctuaries in the coming weeks.
Cool.
Uh-oh. It's time to wrap up already.
Why is that an uh-oh?
I say already, but it's already an hour 10 or something like that.
I was going to say.
Just our usual calls to action for you. Please join the Agriculture Fairness Alliance's Vegan Voter Hub. The link is always in our show notes. We would love if you would subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube, and leave us a review and a rating if you can. And last but not least, send us your favorite vegan recipes for our listener recipe series.
And with that, it's time to sign off. You have just listened to episode 128 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, and there's nothing left to say but where cukes and compassion are always the fashion on the podcast.
Sorry about that.
Right?
Thanks, James.
Have a great week, everyone.
We'll talk to you all next Tuesday.
We love you.
Bye-bye.
The end.
If you'd like to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, well, you can do that by hopping on over to our Patreon page and becoming a patron. We have all the recipes from our vegan kitchen series up there, and we'll be adding some patron-only episodes in the near future. So thank you for supporting us at whatever level that you choose, and thank you again for listening to Compassion and Cucumbers podcast.